Hello, I'm Steph if we haven't met before, and welcome to your quick practice for legs and hips. This is a perfect class to do if you've just finished a leg session at the gym, and when you're ready, come and meet me on the mat. We'll get started today in a downward facing dog, taking your hands to the front of your mat about shoulder width apart. Step the feet to the back of the mat and lift the hips and take them up and back behind you. Once you have arrived in your downward facing dog, you might like to start to bend into one knee at a time, straightening through the opposite leg to stretch into your hamstring here. Changing the bend in the knee a few times. And then coming to land in stillness in your downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up and back behind you for a three-legged dog. Step your left foot all the way to the front of your mat and lower to your right knee, keeping your right toes tucked. Climb your hands up onto your left thigh for a low lunge. Taking a little bit more of a vertical shape in our low lunge here today, really working to stretch the front of that hip flexor. And to do that, we're going to posterior tilt the pelvis. And it's the sensation of trying to shorten this space between that frontal right hip bone and your lower rib. As you can see, not much movement. It's not a noticeable movement, but just that sensation of tucking your tailbone underneath you is going to really help you open across the front of this right hip flexor. Hands are on the thigh for support, and let's be here for 2 to 3 rounds of breath. Just finding a slow rhythm to your breath. Enjoying one more breath in and a breath out. Slowly take your hands back down to the mat. We'll bring them to the inside of that left leg this time. Heel toe your left foot out to the left. If you find you're feeling a little bit tight on space here, you can tuck your right toes and just scoot that right knee back. This time we do want to allow that right hip to come forward and down as we let the left knee open out to the left. Coming into our winged lizard pose. We'll be here for those 2 to 3 rounds of breath. In and out through your nose. Finding a slow rhythm of breath. Enjoying one more inhale breath together. And staying for the exhale. From here, we'll meet back in downward facing dog, stepping your left foot back to the back of your mat to meet the right, adjusting as you need to, hips reaching up and back behind you. When you're ready, reach your right leg up to the sky for your three-legged dog. Step your right foot to the top of your mat, lower the left knee, keeping the left toes tucked. Climb your hands up onto that right thigh, come back into that low lunge. And finding that posterior tilt of your pelvis here again. So shortening the distance now between that frontal left hip bone and the low rib. Again, there's not much that noticeably or visually happens, but the sensation from tucking your tailbone under, lifting the front of the hip bone up is really going to invite quite a nice stretch into the front of that left hip flexor. Let's take those 2 to 3 rounds of breath. Hands on the thigh for support. Slow rhythm of breath. One more breath in together here. And a breath out. Hands release down to the mat on the inside of your right foot. Heel toe that right foot out to the edge of your mat. Give yourself space. You can bring your right hand to fill that space where the foot was and maybe tucking the left toes under and scooting your left knee back further. Letting this left hip now come forward and down towards the floor. Let your right knee open to the right, enjoying 3 rounds of breath here. Intentionally slowing down the rhythm of your breath. Long breaths in through your nose and deep breaths back out through the nose. One more round together, inhaling through the nose, exhaling back out of the nose. We'll meet back in our downward facing dog when you're ready, stepping your right foot to the back of your mat, hips reaching up and back behind you. We'll take one round of breath together here in downward facing dog, and inhale through your nose and an exhale back out through the nose as you let the heels of the feet reach down towards the floor. Slowly lower your knees down towards your mat. Take your knees to one side of the mat, bring your hips to the other, swing yourself around or swing yourself down onto your bottom and extend your left leg straight out in front of you, bringing the right foot to the inside of that left leg and letting the right knee open out to the right. Just turn your chest to face your left foot. Keep a flex in the foot so the toes are facing up towards the ceiling. And then slowly you can walk the hands down either side of that left leg until you feel some sensation in the back line of that leg. Finding that hamstring stretch. We will all reach the stretch at different places. So if your hands are still quite close towards the body, stay there. If you have a little bit more space in your hamstring, you can take the hands further away from the body. Enjoy one more slow inhale breath here. And a slow exhale. Slowly start to lift yourself back up. Changing sides. Right leg straightens out in front of you. Left knee bends open to the side. Sole of the foot on the inside of that right leg. Our right foot is flexed. Toes are facing up towards the ceiling. Hands either side of the leg as we slowly start to walk the hands away from the body. Again, going to that point where you start to feel the stretch. And then we'll land and breathe there for a few rounds of that slow rhythm of breath. Deep, long breaths. Enjoying one more inhale together. And staying for that exhale. When you're ready, slowly lifting away from your right leg. Bringing both feet to the mat, bending the knees. I like to shuffle my hips forward. We'll come down onto our backs, mindfully making your way down. Crossing your right foot or right ankle on top of your left thigh here for our figure 4 stretch. This might already be quite enough in your body. Right hand can rest on the inside of the leg to encourage the right knee forward. Otherwise, you can thread your right hand through that little window in the leg. See if you can catch a hold either of the back of that left thigh or the front of the shin. And letting the back of the head and the back of the shoulders rest heavy on the floor here. As we take 3 rounds of breath. Breathing into this lovely stretch that we're getting in the outer right glute. Enjoying one more breath in. And a breath out. Letting go of the left leg if you have it. Take the bottoms of the feet to the edges of the mat. Let the knees rock side to side a few times. Heel toe the feet back in towards one another. Cross your left ankle on top of your right thigh. Stay here, encouraging your left knee towards the front of the room, or threading that left hand through the little window, catching the back of the leg or the front of the shin. See if you can keep the back of the head and the back of the shoulders heavy here again. This should be quite a supportive pose. Breathing into the outer left glute this time. Let's enjoy 2 more rounds of breath. One more. Deep, slow inhale. And staying as you are for the exhale. Letting go of the right leg if you have it. Feet to the edges of your mat. Let the knees rock side to side a few times. And then when you're ready, bring both knees in towards the chest. Wrap your arms around the legs. Give yourself a little hug. Maybe take a sway side to side. I'll leave you here today. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Namaste.